Where were we? We'll try this until it dies, I guess.
Where were we? I'm pretty sure Pridwen just got done. Yeah, let's see.
You were talking to the Guardian, and the Guardian told you that it didn't
As
think
we
it
look
could be
outside.
helped.
Yeah, Pridwen had the speech. And then they said that there were those who were outside of the monster, and that he should try talking to them. And he said that he would be back. So I think that's where we are.
Okay. So what do you want to do? Pridwen said he'd be back, and then all hell broke loose, so, yeah. Continue.
Pridwen is going to, he's gonna look over to Lunala first, just to see how she's handling.
Not well.
Yeah, that
Lunala
makes
is,
sense.
like, standing there staring at the Guardian, and there's this mixture of, like, hurt and just pitying and sad. Like, there's a whole lot that she's experiencing right now.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah,
lot for her.
that checks out. Um, he's gonna um start looking for the others, I suppose.
So, you turn from the doors, and you look around. The garden is, like I said, a bit overgrown.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to see through.
Um, should I make a roll or?
Yeah, or you can just explore, it's up to you.
He's definitely going to be giving the lake a wide berth. That's a 12 on his perception.
As you are searching the area, you see a hint of movement from the rows off in the distance, the rows of plants. You see a flash of metal.
Hello?
The metal stops. You can make out boots. Slowly, the boots turn in your direction.
Is this me?
Is this Romeo?
I guess we're gonna find out. Do you
Are we?
approach?
Pridwen is going to approach.
You start stalking forward, observing the boots that are standing there, the glinting of metal through the overgrown plant life, and as a flash of lightning keels across the sky, the storm moving ever closer, you catch the reflection of the light in the helmet that is peering down at you through the foliage. And you see that it is, in fact, Romeo.
Romeo.
Oh. Oh, I was not expecting to see you here, Lofero.
I am going to be honest, I was not either.
Well, I welcome your return nonetheless.
Thank you. I need your help.
Anything.
We're trying to find information, I suppose.
Well, I am at your disposal. I owe you after granting me that little dance back then.
I'm glad I was able to help with that. We are. I'm not sure how much you've been watching, but we are in a bit of a bind.
I've had a peek here and there. Was the little girl always that tall?
No, she was not. We're not entirely sure what is happening, but from the seams of it, it almost seems that we're in a different timeline.
Oh. Does Romeo know anything about this sort of thing?
No, you don't have the slightest idea what he is talking about. That is not something that happens. Like, that's just not comprehensible to you.
The fuck is a timeline?
just a moment so I can comprehend, Lofedo. You mean to say we're in a different timeline? Like, what does that mean exactly?
I don't know exactly how much the philosophers of your time talked about the way time works, but there's the theory that time moves in a straight line,
Indeed.
and that you have a start and an end. It seems we're not the only line.
So, one realm that runs parallel to another.
Precisely. They're
Intriguing.
similar but different. I was hoping we could try and get some information regarding it from someone, but unfortunately, no one in the Shield seems to be able to remember. I was wondering if perhaps maybe one of Aurelia's children might know.
Would Romeo have any knowledge of knowing anyone that would help?
Romeo would know that everybody that's ever wielded the shield is in the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And that would go to say that Aurelia's children theoretically should be in here, at least some of them.
Yeah. Okay.
You would also know that, again, this is very hard for you to wrap your mind around. Like, this doesn't seem right to you.
Yeah.
You will also notice that Lunala is not with you guys. She's staring through the doors at the creature that is cowering in a heap in the darkness.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Well, that is certainly a dangerous tightrope you walk upon, young one. I may be able to help you traverse and find those you are searching for.
Anything would be a great help.
Very well.
If they're part of the thing, it's my theory that we might be able to untangle them by presenting them with something they remember.
Something they remember. Let me think.
That would present me with a complication, considering the only things I really know about her, any of their pasts would be at Nolfo. And I have not seen him around.
You also have not seen him around, Romeo. He's probably the one soul in here that is the most evasive. He disappears for long periods of time.
That one is a sneaky one. Would Romeo recall any information about the Aurelias? I can roll a check.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Rolling, I shall. An 11.
Well, you remember that Aurelia was a witch,
Uh-huh.
which, not the greatest realization for your family members to come to one by one
Uh-huh.
every single time,
Yes.
including you.
Yes.
Theoretically, that would imply that also her children are,
Yes.
the same, and therefore everybody afterwards, including you, would have relation to them.
Yes.
Trying to think of what specifically with that role you would get. I don't think Romeo with that role would know too much about them as far as like trying to locate them in here. I think you would probably be as lost as Pridwen would be at this point. In fact,
Yeah.
you only recently found yourself pulled out of that amalgamation that is cowering
Yes.
from the Moon Witch. And you're not entirely sure how that happened.
Yeah. Well, I can't think of too much information in my mind that could help you, but I only recently found my still less than corporeal form demanifested from that thing. So maybe helping you was the reason why.
Perhaps, but I'm not even entirely sure myself of how I brought you out.
Perhaps some part of you needed me. A mystery we can solve.
Roll me a perception check.
Both of us?
Either.
I'll do both. All right.
17?
Oh, natural 20.
Oh, shit!
Romeo, yours is high enough, and the only reason it is high enough, I will say, is because you can feel it in your soul. You feel, all of a sudden, a burst of like something is trying to manipulate you physically. You feel yourself being pulled, being commanded by something, and at the same time you hear an awful mixture of terror and anger, a scream ripping out from beyond the doors.
Ooh, my apologies, young one. I must go tend to them. He
What?
quickly walks past Pridwen, beckoning.
Pridwen, you
Hang on, what?
walk past him saying, "Hold on, what?" And you look, and Lunala is standing there with her hands up. She's stepped inside the doors at this point. And
Oh,
you can see she has a hand out like she was reaching to touch the Guardian. You're not sure why, because her back's to you, but at this point her hands are up, and then the Guardian is scrambling, crawling away from her in terror. And as you get closer, you can hear the screams ripping from its mouth.
Lunala?
Don't touch me. Don't let her hurt me. You hear them saying in all the different voices.
I'm a fan of many dances, but the dance of death is not one I'm fond of, young one.
Lunala turns, startled, seeing Romeo stumbling backwards. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, she says, glancing in the direction of the Guardian. I didn't even touch him.
Then what happened?
I don't know. I was standing there and he looked sad and I reached out. I don't know, maybe I was trying to comfort him and then he just she gestures to the flailing body on the ground.
I believe you, little light. This is strange.
What's happening?
You hear them whispering, all of the voices, sort of off kilter, no longer in unison, a bunch of them whispering different things, most of them Commander of Tides, Architect of Astrals, Moonlit Matron, over and over and over.
Now, I'm quite used to being here, but in all my time within the shield, I have not seen this before.
What in the world is happening?
Lunala
Family.
kind of staggers to her feet and steps away, and the creature seems to calm the further away she is from it.
Family, be at peace. What befalls you?
Roll me another perception check, both of you.
Okay.
19.
Oh, 10.
Good enough roll. You notice something odd. As Lunala backs away a little bit and it stops writhing, it kind of pushes itself up slowly, staggering. It's smaller than before. Not by much. By a little bit. It is smaller than before.
How? What? How?
What are you?
Your guess is as good as mine.
They're smaller.
You mean they're smaller? They don't look any different to me, Lunala says.
It's like they're just a few inches shorter than they were.
You would know better than me, she says, glancing at you, confused.
They
It
still look
really
the same to me.
isn't by much, but they're definitely different.
Is that normal? Did this happen when you came out? Lunala says, looking at you.
I could not tell you. We are acting strange.
I don't understand. What's wrong?
Are you saying this to the Guardian?
Yes.
She pulls us. It whispers, ragged. She changes us.
Lunala?
You say her name and the creature cowers.
He looks over to her.
Lunala gives you the biggest genuine shrug you have ever seen in your life.
I don't understand.
I have never seen this before.
Pridwen, all of a sudden, you are distracted a little bit by a light.
Huh?
You know how, like, in your peripheral, when the light gets brighter, you find yourself wanting to look towards it?
Mm-hmm.
You see a familiar light in your peripheral vision. And as you turn your head, it flickers and darts. A golden glow. It
Mother?
bounces, hovers, oscillates.
He's gonna look over?
You look at it, and when you lay your eyes on it, it moves again. It slithers and skitters, moving away from where you're currently standing.
We'll be right back. Pridwen's gonna grab Lunala and start chasing after it.
You start chasing it, and you notice it's leading you towards the wall.
The wall.
The wall of names.
He's gonna go over to the wall.
You follow, and you notice that the golden light is moving, almost bouncing around on it, bouncing from name to name, and then it stops. And it
Sorry, I'm going to turn on
begins
Spotify. Hopefully it doesn't.
to form the light dipping into the divots of the carved name in front of you.
He's gonna try and follow the light.
It is illuminating a name way up above you on the list.
Oh.
The name that is now glowing gold is Scylla.
Scylla. That's one of Aurelia's children.
The golden light pulses, as if
How-
pleased.
How do we reach her? Do I just need to call her name?
The light bounces from the letters, bounces off of your helmet, and flutters around Lunala, almost like a breeze lifting and tussling at her hair, and then it darts off and disappears into the foliage.
I think they're saying that you can help.
She looks at you and shakes her head. This is a little out of my league, hon.
Love, this is out of mine as well.
This is your literal head. I don't know how that is possible.
Believe me, it's as confusing to me as it is to everyone else.
Great.
So, I think perhaps they're saying that you can pull on them. Maybe if you can try to call for her specifically.
Pull. I don't even know what you mean, Pridwen.
I don't know either, but
It's not like there's like a string that I can grab. I can't like just. I can't just. It's not like I'm just gonna wave my hands and something is gonna happen, she says, gesturing to the side, and as she does, the water in the lake that she gestures towards ripples outwards and rumbles.
Pridwen looks over to the lake.
You watch as the water, an enormous wave, is thrust away from where her hands have gestured. It vibrates, the ripples pulsing outward, seeming to almost match the emotions that you can feel radiating off of your wife.
This is how magic works. You have to visualize what you want to happen. Try to make it happen.
Pardon, I don't do that. I don't do the magic thing. I do the cat thing and that's it.
But you do magic. It's just not. You do it through me. So, what if you tried to do that using me? What if you tried... If we need to bring her out, perhaps it would be easier for you if you tried to use me to do so. Like a focus.
Like a conduit?
Sort of.
She rubs at her temples. I don't do the witch thing for a reason.
I understand, but this is...
Important.
Yes.
She sighs.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. I will try.
That's all I ask.
Don't really know what I'm supposed to do here. Can you, like, tell me what I'm supposed to be visualizing? I don't even know what this person's supposed to look like.
Well, I'm not sure myself, but he pulls out a old tome from his bag that's emblazoned with the Rhizostoma family seal. We don't keep much in terms of...
You guys don't have, like, family pictures? That's kind of depressing. We're gonna have to fix that.
Well, we do. It's just back then photographs didn't exist. I'm not sure if there were any oil paintings of her, but there weren't any that I ever saw. Although if she was the daughter of Aurelia, I think that she might have looked a bit different from the rest of us.
Do you have art of her?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
So,
He was telling me about this.
roll to see if there are any sketches in this book.
16.
You open the cover. You start flipping. You get to the part where it starts notarizing certain members of the family. And lo and behold, there is a sketch. Not a painting, not a picture, a sketch of the 3 children. Granted, they look a little younger than you imagined they would. But they're there.
Oh. I don't remember that being here. He'll hold the book open for Lunala to look at.
Lunala tilts her head and stares down at the sketch. So, this one, she says, and reaches a hand up delicately and traces the pen strokes.
Well, Scylla was the eldest, and Domida was second. Vetus was a boy, so I think she would be... He's going to point at one of them, and, here, let me... Should I drop it into art?
Sure, if you want.
Not fully finished just yet, but it is close enough.
Close enough!
Oh god, where is she? Do I not actually have the image? Here, hang on. This will only take a second. Oh wait, never mind. This will not take a second because my iPad just died.
Fuck.
Okay, well we can post art in a little bit, but either way,
Yeah.
you have a sketch of all three of the children.
She also looks the fishiest.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
It's
Lunala
fishy, you say?
tilts her head and peers down. I'm imagining Romeo is also tilting his head and peering down at the drawing.
Yes.
Romeo, you have never seen this person before. You've never seen this sketch before. You have no idea what's going on.
He points to the image, and there's a girl who's in pretty heavy looking armor. There's a boy who's kind of like, he looks a little scrawny. Both of them look about the same as the other rhizostomas typically do. You know, the same kind of shape of hair,
Yeah.
pale, hairless faces. And then there's one who has scaled claws and a almost piranha-like mouth. And she is definitely very different from the other two.
You see, I would tell you who that is, but I have no idea who that is.
Lunala looks at the image and studies it for a minute, and then she glances around your inner room.
Well, it would be a lot easier to try and, I don't know, find someone if this place wasn't so...
She gestures at the overgrowth.
Messy.
Also, ignore the character sheets Discord. I'm changing Mazakine's theme. Anyway,
Okay.
continue.
Okay.
This song is a banger. Anyway, continue.
I suppose our best course of action will be to try to call her out of them.
Right.
Just pretend that you're... Visualize her. It's hard to describe. When I use my abilities, I think about what I want to happen. Focus on the emotions connected to it and push it into reality. When we do the energy beam, usually I'm very, very angry. And I think about how much I want the thing that I'm looking at to stop existing.
Well, I don't want that to happen.
We don't want that to happen. However,
If I recall, sorry for interrupting, wasn't that horned friend of yours quite proficient in the use of magic? Maybe you can learn a thing or two from him, from
it's
the things he's done.
possible. I mean, I know different categories of magic work differently, but I think that fundamentally all of them use the same sort of imagination?
Your will.
Yes, precisely. You try to impose your will into reality.
Lunala is like looking back and forth between the two of you, and then she just slowly like crouches down, and just puts her head in her hands.
He tries to put a hand on her shoulder reassuringly, and he says, "What do you think about when you use me to cast an ability?"
I don't really think it just
sense. I just kind of point you in the direction you're supposed to go.
Well, let's not overcomplicate things. How about we just try that?
You are, oh, well, not sugarcoating it, a witch. You are born to wield magic, so instead of will and imagination, perhaps instinct?
No offense, helmet guy, but I can't use my abilities. Okay, I don't know how they work, and quite frankly, they scare the shit out of me. So I just prefer not to do that.
Well, despite that, it is the use of magic is written into your very DNA. Perhaps you can
Don't remind me,
use
she
that.
says.
Perhaps you can use that, I suppose, ancestral knowledge or instinct to guide your hand.
What am I supposed to do? Summon her? I don't know how to
If
summon things, she says, like gesturing to the air.
Well,
if it
oh, continue.
if it makes you feel any better, I was afraid of my abilities as well when I was younger.
I didn't used to be. You can see she's caught in a memory. And for a moment, Pridwen, you hear something behind you in the direction of the shore.
Oh?
Her gaze is distant, and you hear a very childish giggle coming from the water. And you hear yourself for a moment. You turn and you see the two of you as children running on the sand. You see the same scene play out that you did all that time ago, remembering her dancing out on the water, excited to show you what she can do. The water moving around her, fluid, as if commanded by her. And for a moment, there's this warmth that fills you. And then you hear the electric burst again, and the scar on your cheek burns.
I remember.
Romeo's like, is that what happened to his face?
Um, I told Katya this story, but I don't believe you were there for the time I discovered my powers. Um, I was even younger than you when that happened. Probably 4 years old. I'd gotten into the silverware drawer, and this was after the castle was modernized. I found my way to a wall socket, and I put the fork in it.
I forgot about this.
Yo.
Um, I was completely unfazed, but the rest of the house was not. And I remembered the panic as Mother tried to figure out what was happening and where I was. And she brought me out of the burning building. And I remember she very sternly told me to never do that again. And I took that to heart. I was terrified of electricity after that. But I think she realized how it had affected me, and she told me that there was nothing to fear, so long as I understood what I could do.
And you didn't set the house on fire in the process? She says, looking at you.
I had accidents as I was learning, but she always reminded me each mistake helped me understand how to avoid making it again the next time.
Vunala gives you a sad smile and looks at you. I don't want to set your house on fire, she says, looking at the room around you.
It's burned down so many times. Romeo can attest to this.
The one in the real world. Remember where we are.
Right, yes.
You can see Romeo counting on his fingers.
All of the sieges that the castle has undergone.
All I can think of is the part in Chowder where he's like, it takes money to rebuild this kitchen every week.
My butler was quite mad about the state of things that one time.
Regardless, this is why we make mistakes in a controlled environment instead of sticking forks in outlets.
Can we really call your brain a controlled environment? She says cautiously.
I would say it's more controlled than outside.
She sighs. And starts walking.
She will hold her hand as they head towards the door.
She's not going to the door.
Oh?
She's going towards the water.
He'll follow her.
Cautiously, she stops on the shore. Just out of reach of the touch of the little bit of tide. She stares at the surface of the water. I used to love that. Why am I so scared of it now? Cautiously, she lifts a foot and sets it down on the surface of the water. It doesn't sink, it just stops on the surface.
He'll step out with her.
She pauses as if remembering, or trying to. Takes another step. And then dashes a few feet out onto the water and skids, sending a spray of water away from you.
Huh.
You see, for just a moment, the flicker of a smile at the corner of her mouth. She reaches a hand out, as if instinctually, and the water begins to rise in little rivulets, raising up, moving to dance towards her fingers, and then she catches herself staring down at her reflection in the water, sees the faint purple glow of her eyes, and it stops. The water drops back down. She's looking at herself, and then the water begins to ripple beneath her feet, and she starts to sink.
Pridwen's going to hold her up.
She lets out a panicked gasp and almost claws you, gripping at you.
It's okay, I'm here.
I can't do this, she says, shaking her head. Like, more standing on one of your boots than anything, staring down at the water.
What's wrong?
What if I figure this stuff out and I end up being just as bad as everybody else?
What do you mean?
What if I'm as bad as what your family thinks I am? What if I learn how to use my powers and then...
And then you use them for evil.
Yeah?
Pridwen shakes his head. That isn't going to happen.
But how do you know?
Because I know you. Power does not make you what you are.
But power corrupts.
If you do not know how to control it.
And I don't. I don't know how to control it.
Which is why you must learn. If anything, it's not knowing that is the greater threat. If I never learned how to control my abilities, if I had to make mistakes without learning, it could have hurt a lot of people, even if I didn't want it to. But that's why I trained, that's why I learned, that's why I worked so hard to understand what I was. Even if I didn't like what I was. At least, not at first.
Anxiously, she slowly steps off of your boot. Tests the tenacity of the surface of the water. Stands on it again. Okay, she says, nodding her head. Okay. I can figure this out. I need to not think.
How do I help?
I need to not think. I need, I don't know, a distraction, a hype man. I don't know what I need.
Romeo?
Yes.
She's like standing on the shore watching this.
He's like standing behind a tree. What would you need help with?
Spying on us, are you?
No.
No?
No?
Question mark?
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Do you think you could help with providing a distraction?
He looks around. You're not at risk of exploding, are you?
No? I just need... We need to...
Uh-huh.
figure this out without having a panic attack.
Oh, then yes, I can help. What would you like to know? Or do? Or what kind of distraction do you need?
Oh god. What do you think would help you?
I don't know.
Just...
I need to not think.
Well... You said you said that during combat, you were able to empty your mind?
That's because the only thing I can think about in combat is not letting you die. I don't think, I just do.
So... Pridwen looks over to Romeo. Do you think perhaps a spar might help?
But that'll just be me using you again for...
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it if it helps.
Or, if you want, the two of us could.
She looks at you uncomfortably. I feel like we'll be a little outmatched there.
Well... Probably not the best of my ideas. No, I've got it. Pridwen will activate his ability so that she can walk on the water without needing to actively focus on it. And he will hold out his hand and say, "Care to dance?"
She looks at your hands, first a bit confused, and then she takes it. A little strange without music, don't you think?
Indeed.
What instruments would Romeo know?
I think, being a Renaissance man, I think he would know a lot of them.
Let's
What
go violin.
doesn't he know?
Violin it is.
Is Romeo just pulling a violin out of, like, the bushes? Like...
Yes, yes.
He just walks over to a tree, opens it like a door, and there's a violin sitting inside.
That's canon. That's exactly how it happens.
Yes,
That's
yes.
exactly
I mean,
how it happens.
it's technically a dreamscape, so anything can happen.
Walks
Anything can
over,
happen.
opens the tree, there's a violin, he picks it up, leans back against the tree, crosses one leg over the other, and starts to play. And suddenly, there is music.
And Pridwen is going to start by doing a simple dance. He's actually going to specifically do the one that they did on their wedding day.
Lunala, you can tell at first she's a little anxious stepping on the water, trying to remember, and then she stops looking at her feet and the water and everything else. And she is only focused on you.
Pridwen's going to lead for a little bit, but after she seems to get comfortable, he's actually going to let her take the lead.
You notice that she doesn't even seem to realize that she's the one leading as you do this. She's just moving, her eyes drifted close, not thinking about it at all. You can actually see a smile for the first time in a while, a genuine smile. And as you go to spin her, you find yourself letting go of her for just a moment, testing. She spins away from you of her own volition, and as she does, you see her hands drifting and moving, and the water rivulets begin to move around her, darting up into the air and forming almost like fountains, moving all around her in a very theatrical almost display. And then you notice as she's spinning and dancing on her own, the water rivulets begin to form into a mass, a spinning, writhing mass in front of her. And she's twisting and contorting her hands as if she's creating something. Something you can't see, something out of clay, and this mass of water begins to form and gets bigger and larger, and it's moving with her. She's moving around it, and then it begins to move as it takes shape, and you watch as the image from the sketchbook begins to form, the features getting more and more defined as the figure begins to move and dance alongside her. You can see the purple glow from behind Lunala's closed eyes. And suddenly she turns and in a flourish thrusts her hands to her sides, and there's an explosion of water outward from the dancing water figure in front of you. And suddenly there's not two of you on the water anymore. There's three.
Oh. Hang on. Wait just one moment. My iPad is powered back up, so art may be on the way. There we go.
Waiting patiently for this art.
I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. If Discord will fucking open. Losing my goddamn mind. I don't care about what's new. Shut the fuck up.
Let's feel that one.
Me.
There we go. Here she is. And a special thank you to Dylan for helping me figure out how the fuck her skirt works.
Yes. Oh, yeah!
Pridwen,
Mm-hmm.
there's a fish lady in a dress standing between you and Lunala.
Oh, also, when she appears, there's a noticeable increase in the pressure in the air.
I love that.
Romeo, for you, who have been playing the violin and just watched this happen, you can sense that not only is there one witch on the water, there are two.
You better pray to God that Apollyon never sees them.
Satan's thirstiest soldier.
Jesus Christ.
Lunala?
Lunala, kind of breathing heavily, turns and looks at you. Sorry, I got a little carried away. She stops.
You did it.
She looks at the woman, looks past the woman at you, looks at the woman again, looks at you, looks very confused.
Well, I'll be damned, little light, you did it.
I didn't do that, Lunala says, raising her hands defensively.
That was all you.
No, she says. Scylla, who I imagine is standing there, kind of amused by this entire situation, looking back and forth between the three of you.
Well, it would be rude not to have introductions.
My. And it has been so long since I've been able to meet any of you.
She talks, Lunala says.
She talks! She does this... Oh.
You're one of Aurelia's kids.
The better one, yes.
Lunala actually giggles a little uncontrollably at this.
And she, bows in a very regal manner and says, I have heard so very much about both of you, but I think proper introductions are in order. Scylla Rhizostoma, at your service.
Lunala kind of like sort of lifts a hand and then like kind of flexes her fingers like she doesn't know what to do. Lunala and Pridwen, he's the one you should be talking to. He's the shield bearer, not me.
She tilts her head and says, but it seems you're the one who needs my help.
I no, he needs advice.
I think both of us could use help.
I'm just watching.
Romeo's playing the violin in the background.
She looks up and over to Romeo and she says, ah, and one of my siblings' grandchildren.
Aha.
You...
I wasn't ready for that, sorry. That was so on par for what he is in my brain.
You, I have also heard a lot about.
Aha.
I know what you are.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I'm just imagining that Romeo, like, shuts down.
Canonically, he turns around, opens the tree where he got the violin, climbs into the tree, and shuts the door behind him.
She seems to derive a great amount of joy from his suffering.
Romeo is almost as much of a freak as Apollyon.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, Romeo would have definitely gotten the sense that that was what she was referring to.
Yeah. Yes.
She turns back and she says, "So, both of you need my help. And what can this old crone do for you?"
Looking at Pridwen helplessly.
We're a little stuck. You wouldn't have happened to have been thrown into a different timeline before, would you?
Silly, you have no idea what he's talking about either.
Timeline. Like a string of fate? No.
How did Katya put it? Okay, so you have the one thing, and she, like, moves the water in a line. And then you have another one, and we're here, and this is time, and it moves linear. Right.
Oh.
We ended up over here, she says, gesturing to the other water line.
She squints. I think I understand what you're saying.
We don't know how to get back over here, she says, pointing at the first water line.
So what you're saying is you're
Stuck. Loon Olive reiterates.
that much makes sense. She runs her claws through her hair in deep thought. Would she have heard anything like this from her mother?
Nope.
Would she have heard anything similar from her mother?
Roll.
Oh boy. And that is a 19.
Scylla. This weird timeline bullshit doesn't make sense to you. However, you are familiar with the Void. Particularly because there was this really annoying horned demon that used to babble on about it when he tried to date you that one time. And you recall that in a very similar explanation, somebody drew a circle to describe the current state that you are in, and then they slammed a drink down on the table next to that circle. And they said, what if there was a way to go from here, taking the fork from the current circle and putting it into the drink, to here? And what if they moved the drink cup around the circle? What if it was able to do this? And this person began to try and drunkenly explain to you that there's a place that doesn't abide by the laws of space and time that you can access that makes it easier to get from one place to another.
That sounds feasible.
Loon Lunala looks at Pridwen. Feasible, she mouths.
To try to put into words, it sounds similar to the Abyss, if either of you are familiar.
I'm imagining Lunala and Pridwen both do the cringe, the fairy cringe from the anime.
Yeah. They both look like the fucking image of the soldier in Vietnam. The fucking,
Apollyon.
like, haunted look.
They're just like in
Apollyon
the
and
background behind Scylla, there's just animals dancing in a circle. Like in the air.
both Apollyon in another timeline and Apollyon in this timeline both sneeze upon the mention of the abyss.
Well, it would seem that you are... It's hard to truly say for sure if what you're describing is true. Then you found some way to go beyond the abyss, which, to my understanding, shouldn't be possible.
Precisely, Lunala says, gesturing. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
And yet here we are.
She's going to try to remember if there were any members of during the times where she was cognizant of what people were doing, if she could remember if there was anyone who tried fucking around with the abyss.
Yes, there is. And you know exactly who I'm gonna tell you it is.
Yep.
Wait, who?
You'll find out.
Oh, okay.
That is for me to know and you to find out.
Enjoy the plot as it rolls out before you like a red carpet.
I do recall one thing. During my attempts to peer into the lives of my family, I do recall a certain... I believe she would be your great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Lunala counting on her fingers.
The number isn't as important as the
They're
fact
old.
she was,
Thank you, Romeo.
Couldn't be me. I died young.
you would be older than her. But she was something of an occultist, if you catch my meaning. She liked to poke her head through places she probably shouldn't have. And she also was willing to stoop to a level that I wouldn't have regarding that hideous demon man.
Lunala makes eye contact with Pridwen and goes, is she talking about...
I think she is. But that's ancient history. The one you will want to look for is Nyx.
Lunala lifts a brow.
Wait. Is this the Nyx I'm thinking of?
No,
Okay.
it would not
never
be the
mind.
Nyx you're thinking of.
Okay. Then that's worse.
That's worse!
So much worse.
Great, so now we have to summon another one. Fantastic.
And another thing, little Moonlight, it's become abundantly clear to me that you don't seem to have a very good grasp on your powers.
Immediately, Lunala's face falls. You sense the water beneath her feet beginning to tremble again.
At least, from what it seems, you're getting the hang of it. All I wanted to offer you was, if you ever need someone to talk to, my mother did give me the talk. She kind of grins.
Lunala wrinkles her nose further.
If you ever need someone to answer questions that you have, I am not going to force you to take a class, but I know some of the things you're going through. And if you can continue to do what you previously did, then theoretically speaking, my door will always be open.
Lunala is glancing away at the water uncomfortably.
But I will not bother you anymore with this. It seems you have a very important job to do.
She seems even more uncomfortable upon hearing that phrase. Lunala is not taking this well.
She kind of, she like walks over, the feeling of pressure increasing as she gets closer, and she places a fishy hand on Lunala's shoulder. From what I understand, you're already doing better than most of us.
Lunala kind of actually looks up at her. You see her like eye twitch a bit. Better. Every single witch that lays eyes on me, that even so much as glances in my direction, treats me like a child, too inexperienced and stupid to even know how to do anything, as if it's attainable simply by snapping one's fingers and uttering the right phrase. I am a novice among masters, she gestures to her.
She
Wasted power and potential, and every single look of disappointment continues to remind me that I am behind, that I am not trying hard enough, that in the end I will always be hiding behind him.
she squints and kind of looms forward, and she says, "You think I see a child in front of me?" And she shakes her head. No, no, no. I see someone who has gone beyond their nature. Believe me, I know how witches can be. They think magic is the only thing that's worth their time, that their own power is the only thing that is true, that if they turn to others, then they are weak. She shakes her head. You have learned something that most of our kind would not only believe beneath them, but if they actually bothered to try, they would fail laughably. I have seen in you a degree of martial prowess that my peers lacked in every way. It is not that you are behind, you're simply playing a different game.
Your strengths lie elsewhere.
That being said, it never hurts to know the other side. You're not hiding behind him, sweetheart. You are a fighter, and you wield your weapon well.
But she glances away, lowering her voice to the point that Pridwen can't hear. Is it so much to ask that I could stand on my own 2 feet sometimes without making him feel like a failure? I swore I'd never put him down again, and I meant it.
Then that is something you can learn.
Okay.
I offer you my help, not because I think you are behind or because I think you are lesser, but only because I think you are lacking in that department. But you have learned how to wield him. You have learned how to fight and survive, so I am confident that you will excel.
But I just don't see the point. I mean, if there was some way that we could collaborate, maybe, but as it stands, it's either his power or mine. It's not like we can. She gestures to the water. Combine?
She grins. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. What do you mean, not yet?
You'll find out. Allow me to give you a piece of advice. A witch's power is only limited by her imagination. Corny as that might sound, you can do great things. Whatever you want to happen, you can find a way to make it so. At least to a degree. If you wish truly to have your power channel through him, combine with him, there will be a way to make it so. You need only find the avenue to do so. And as I said, I would be happy to offer you that help.
Lunala is losing her mind right now.
She's grinning. Scylla's grinning very wide.
The blood of blood of a witch, but not the mind of one.
Pridwen, by the way, you haven't heard any of the conversation that's happened at this point.
Is everything alright over there?
Lunala is, like, still standing there trying to process.
We're just having a girl talk. Okay.
Romeo's like, the last time I had to deal with girl talk, somebody got broken up with.
She's not leaving me, is she?
Pridwen's going through, like, the 5 stages of grief in the background.
No, son. She's spurning you.
Oh, God.
Okay. Then all
It's okay, you get used to it.
I think I get it. I get it. I think I know what happened, she says, turning towards the shore suddenly.
Oh?
Commander, they called me a commander. They called me an architect, Lunala says, and takes off running.
Glad I could be of help.
Pridwen, your wife is like sprinting towards the shoreline.
Yeah, Pridwen is also now sprinting towards the shoreline.
Lunala hits the sand like skids, sending like spews of sand in every direction, and then sprints up into the foliage.
Lunola, where are we going?
You shout this, she doesn't respond. She is focused, her brows knit.
I can only run so fast.
By the time you catch up, you see that she's standing in front of the open double doors.
I think I'm going to throw up. Lunola?
You see her take a deep breath and then hold her hand out to you.
He's going to take it.
You feel her pulling you. The type of command a Meister pulls to their weapon.
He will transform.
But not into the shields.
Oh?
Oh.
Oh boy.
You are in your knife form.
Oh god. Pridwen is doing his best to just allow that to happen.
Lunala is holding you in your knife form, and she whispers, I know what to do, but I need to borrow this.
By all means.
You see her take a step forward into the doors, into the darkness, and her eyes immediately light up with a brilliant purple. You feel the air around you begin to churn and intensify. And the cowering shark creature in front of you lets out a screech of terror and tries to backpedal away from her. She reaches out and grabs for one of the weapons sticking out of him. Grabs the blade of it. You see it slicing into her hands, and she doesn't even seem to notice. You called me the Commander of Tides. She wrenches at the blade and uses you and drives you down into where the blade is connecting into the body. You called me an architect. She begins to wrench the blade free. There's awful screams coming from the creature in front of you. Do you hold your form?
He will?
If I am a commander, then obey me, she says, and wrenches the blade out and throws it behind her. I am a conductor. And she grabs for another one and uses you to pry at it, to pry the weapon free, wrenching it out again. And each time as you do, the creature seems to get a little smaller. She works each weapon with focus and precision, not in a violent manner, but more akin to your hands, akin to the hands of a surgeon, minimizing as much pain as possible. The creature shrinking before you, she says, I am the moon, and you are the tide, so obey. And she pulls another blade free, and she stops and pauses, looking down. You. And she reaches into the hole she just made and grabs something and begins to wrench it free from beneath the armor of the creature.
using you to pry the area open just a little bit, you see that she removes a book. Finally, stepping back, her eyes beginning to fade from the purple. She staggers backwards and lets go of you, and the book in her hands trembles and then begins to fall. She drops both of you.
Oh, are you alright?
Her eyes flicker and she collapses.
He's going to try and catch her.
As you go to catch her, you see the book hit the ground and explode in a burst of light.
Oh my god.
And as it does, you kind of shield yourself and her for just a moment, and you look back up, and there's a soul hovering where the book was. You glance behind you in the direction of the blades that she has torn out and thrown, and you see more souls hovering. And the soul where the book used to be begins to oscillate and form into a shape. You can see a face in the form looking out at you. Two dark eyes settling on your figure.
Are you Nyx?
You see the eyes drift from you to the body at your side. Then back to you. You know my name. That's my name, she whispers, remembering.
Scylla told us your name.
I'd forgotten.
I'm glad we could help you remember.
Remember? She looks at the other hovering souls. Remember doesn't even begin to describe. The darkness that the remaining creature crawled into, the guardian, there is a strange sound that comes from it.
Oh?
You hear another soft growling. Growls of warning, except it's not as loud as it used to be. A shadow begins to form, and coming from the darkness, it begins to move towards you. Remember, you brought us back, she whispers. And you see the creature bound forward with warning, and then stop, and then sit in front of you.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my fucking god.
Land shark.
Land shark.
It
Jeff?
tilts its
Jeff?
head
and looks at you. You can still see there's some weapons sticking out of it in various places, but it kind of shrinks down a little bit anxiously in front of you, realizing that you are now in fact much bigger than it is.
Are you the shield?
You kind of look at it and lift a hand asking the question, and it snarls at you in warning and backs up a little bit, then sits and tilts its head over and looks at you again,
He kind of
confused.
just holds his hand up in a non-threatening manner, like a "I'm not gonna hurt you" kind of gesture.
Slowly, it moves towards you, its tail dragging in the sand behind it. It sniffs at your hand and then nudges the tip of its nose into your glove.
And he gently pats it.
That's about the time you notice that the souls around you have been talking, murmuring gleefully to each other as they start to remember more and more, realizing who each other are as individual units. You glance over your shoulder and you see Romeo standing outside of the doors, and beside him you see Isadora and Lavinia. You see Dante, irritated in the background.
Brooding as usual.
And past them, standing on the shoreline, you see Scylla and Adenalva talking.
Nyx.
She was talking with one of the other souls nearby, but her eyes move back to your face.
I need to ask you something real quick.
Anything.
We're trapped in a different reality.
She makes a face.
And we don't know how to get out. Well, we think we do, but the long and short of it is, we think we're in a different timeline.
She starts laughing, and the soul actually like rolls backwards, hovering in the air with the laughter. Oh. You are capable, but you aren't very smart.
I'm sorry?
You don't have any idea what's going on, do you?
No?
Quick pause. Dylan,
Yes.
we're gonna cut over to you for a minute.
Oh?
Last we left Apollyon,
Mm-hmm.
he was in the forest.
Yes.
There was a staircase. And you were in the middle of fighting something.
Yes.
Something big with horns,
Horns.
and antlers, and a whole lot of blood.
Yes.
Once you managed to dispatch him, you started looking around trying to figure out where everybody could have gone. What would be your fastest attempt to try and locate them, seeing that the stairs didn't do anything to you?
That's a great question. Well, he is of the knowledge that it's time bullshit, but he doesn't know what kind. He will...
question. If you had to try and locate them at any point, how do you go about locating them? Telling me you don't have any way to track your students that get into trouble every 2 seconds?
Do I?
Well, they have PDAs on them.
Yeah, I was thinking that he'll probably check his PDA and try messaging them. Probably Pridwen.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 19.
Interesting. Maybe it's the stress. But you swear to God, as you type, sending out the messages, you think you hear a response.
Oh.
A notification sound.
From...
To the north of you.
He walks north.
You start walking. You hear it again, another notification sound.
He follows it.
It's almost like it's guiding you. You follow the sounds further and further, but it's weird because every time you get to the spot where you should have found it, it's further away again.
What the hell? He continues following.
You keep walking. And it's about the time that you realize that maybe following a strange noise deeper and deeper into the forest might not be the best idea, that you see the mouth of the cave.
Either there's some sort of scary fuck off demon in here, or there's some weird other fuckery going on. What do you think, Abaddon?
I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, me neither. Should we follow?
I would shrug, but I don't have arms.
Well,
Who am I
they're
kidding? The
all...
chance to kill something else? Get in there.
If you say so, he's gonna follow.
She giggles, the sound resounding, echoing off of the cave walls as you enter further. Roll me another perception check.
Ooh, 17.
You notice your feet are starting to stick to something on the ground.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of sticky things. Well, some sticky things could pass.
It takes you a minute longer to realize that it's inconsistent. It's not like the whole ground is sticky. There's something on it that's sticky. You make your way a little further in and you move to brace yourself against the wall to free one of your feet, and you touch something sticky on the wall.
I'm gonna create a flame in my hand.
You create a flame. Immediately, little strings around you catch fire and burn upward, spidering out as you see spider webs.
Oh.
All
Not...
over the place.
I love dealing with giant spiders.
There's a skittering sound further inward.
He has Abaddon out, and he's Hmm. He'll probably prepare for whatever is going to come near him.
It doesn't seem to be coming at you. It seems to be retreating.
Oh, then he's gonna follow.
You start following, trying to do your best to avoid the groups of webbing dangling from the walls on the floors. You move further inward and you notice the tunnel is curving around. You're getting further and further from the fresh air, the stale, damp surroundings beginning to overwhelm you.
Come out wherever you are.
Come around the corner, you hear more skittering and hints of giggles.
Ugh.
At first you think it's Abaddon, but Abaddon isn't making any noise anymore.
They like setting the scene, don't they?
You say this, darting around another bend, and you find yourself in a very large, cavernous room. It's too dark to see. Your flame only lights a few feet in front of you. Roll perception.
15. My rolls are getting lower and lower.
You hear a shaky breath from in front of you. You brace
He
Abaddon and
approaches.
take a step forward. Do you swing?
He will swing, but miss on like he'll steady his blade right at where the target is instead of hitting them.
You arch Abaddon forward and swing it down just inches from contacting skin. Hovering in front of you. You lift Abaddon a bit and you hear Abaddon, a shaky voice in your mind. Holly?
Yes.
It's Brian.
What?
Brian is in front of you. You see that his limbs, his arms, his neck are trapped, encased in different, varying thickness of webbing.
No, that doesn't make any sense. I saw him disappear. Did he reappear here? Or is this one of those... What do they call them? Well, I'll fight whatever it is if it's evil. He's gonna burn away the webs.
You reach a hand forward to start burning the webs, and something wraps around your ankle
Oh, god damn it.
and begins
gonna-
to pull violently.
I'm gonna swing at whatever's pulling me.
You go to swing at whatever's pulling you, and it lets go, only for something else to coil around your elbow. Try and pull you in an opposite direction.
Does it feel sticky that's pulling him?
No.
What does it feel like?
It feels like shadow, and it's not listening to you.
There's a disturbance here. He's going to... Ooh. He's going to manifest Anna's light.
Have you touched Anna?
Well, his ability, I think, works differently. It's if he's seen something
That's fair,
happen.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
You try to manifest the light, and something hits you from behind and attempts to pull you backwards. And as you are being pulled backwards, the immense strength of whatever it is turns you slightly, and you look back to where you see Brian, and your fire, Anna's glow, lights the room up like a beacon, and you see the entire party strung up
all over the room and coiled in webbing. All of them not moving. And you are wrenched backwards and you hear a voice speaking to you. And no matter how close or how far as you're pulled and fighting at whatever is pulling you, it seems right in your ear the whole time. I should have known you'd be with them.
In presumably a final last stand, I'm going to... One moment, I need to scroll down, look at my things. One moment. Fuck it. I'm gonna black box, and I'm going to use Soma's fireball.
Okay. Where are you, what are you launching it at? The tendrils that are pulling you?
Fantastic question. I am going to...
Because you're just being, like, pulled in every direction through the tunnels right now.
Yeah. I want to cause as much destruction as possible, actually. Because he knows... Yes.
Are you sure
well,
you want to do that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. He's going to... Fuck.
As you're thinking about what to do, getting pulled, you hear your own voice echoing back at you. Come out, wherever you are.
I hate this. Okay. I'm just going to go easy and... Can I tell a direction exactly that I'm being, like, something's pulling me?
It's trying to take you out of the cave.
Yeah.
But it
it's trying
keeps
to take
changing
me.
tunnels.
It's trying to take me. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Fuck, I'm trying to figure out what ability would be good here.
I did warn you beforehand that you weren't gonna like what happens.
This is terrifying. I hate this. Let's see. You know what? This will probably... No, wait. How can I create as much light as possible? Let me think. Ooh. This will probably damage me. I'm pretty sure it will.
Okay.
Could I black box and use Pridwen's lantern light?
Oh boy. Can you? The answer is yes. Do you want to do that?
Oh man, okay,
I'm just asking. I'm trying to make sure you're sure about what you're doing, because I don't think you're ready for what's about to happen.
Okay, you know what? He's just gonna go muscle man mode and just start blasting. I'm gonna use reversal.
So anyway, I started blasting.
I'm gonna use reversal in the direction of where I think the mass of the body would be for... That's whatever's grabbing me.
You just start shooting in the tunnels?
Yes.
You start shooting. Any and everywhere. It's so disorienting with whatever's pulling you. You can't tell which way is up or down at this point. You can't tell what's right or left or forward, so you just start firing and you hear a rumble. You hear the sound of fracturing rocks.
Well, I guess I should clarify. He wouldn't be shooting at the walls. He'd probably be shooting, like, I guess, like, this is a predicament. Because I was thinking he was probably shooting, like, in the direction of the tunnel downward instead of at the walls.
I mean, the problem is, you're being pulled through the tunnels, and the
Uh-huh.
things that are pulling you are coming from the walls.
Oh. Oh, okay. That adds a little more context. Hmm. Hmm. This is a predicament. Because I don't want to destroy the cave. Cave-ins are bad. Oh god. Wait, we're in a cave. Oh no. I know exactly what's going on here. Okay, okay. Let me calculate this real quick.
Are you sure you know what's happening? Because I'm not sure you do.
I I I think I know the cave
This
I'm
guy
in.
doesn't know!
I
This guy doesn't know! Through the cave as he's being pulled.
hold on here. I need to calculate. I need to. Apollyon needs to do some shit. What would be a good idea here? What would be a good idea? I gotta lock in, bro. I gotta lock in. uh. Shit, shit, shit. Okay. So. Fuck. Hold on. Give me just a moment. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to cause destruction to the cave.
As you're
Okay.
trying to figure out what to do, you were being pulled, like, the tunnel was like a horizontal type of tunnel, you know, like with varying slants and stuff.
Yeah.
But with the way you're being pulled now, it kind of feels like you are in a vertical shaft.
Oh.
And it now feels like you're being pulled down the vertical shaft.
Okay. So. There's something I can do. But unless my restrictions are going, unless my movements are going to be absolutely 100% restricted, I want to see what's gonna happen. Yeah. So at this point, I'd say Apollyon is just calm and going with the flow at the moment.
You're being pulled downwards. And the things pulling at you suddenly feel more like phalanges, like fingers. And you're being pulled downward, and the walls of the cave don't seem like rock anymore. They seem like flesh. And you feel like you are being walled in and pulled further and further into the darkness, into the belly of a beast, until suddenly a burst of fresh air hits you. You choke in a breath. You hear Abaddon coughing somewhere behind you. You stagger to your feet, turning to look back in the direction of the tunnel that you think is there, and you find yourself in the trees. You don't see the cave. You spin in a circle looking, and you hear a whisper from just behind you. I've been waiting a long time for this.
He turns.
You turn, and you see a figure standing just in front of you.
Oh
Eyes
god.
pure white to match everything else about her.
Does he recognize them? To whom do I owe the pleasure of this transit?
Well, you're hurting my feelings, Apollyon. You don't recognize me even in the new body? She holds her hand out. The name's Mare.
Oh. He scratches his head and then holds his hand out. He says, "A pleasure to see you in the flesh."
She grins and takes your hand. And immediately you are spiraling into darkness again. Pridwen, you're muted.
Uh-huh.
The soul oscillating in front of you is laughing hard. I can't believe the Courage Shield Bearer is too stupid to realize that he's being fucked with.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
You're
God.
not in an alternate dimension. God, how stupid are you?
Quite frankly, all of this seems impossible, so you'll have to forgive me if I didn't question it.
Honey,
Oh, God, Apollyon was right.
you're in a trap. You're just a
Oh,
plaything in her web.
oh my god. We're in a nightmare.
The image in front of you grins. Yeah, she tried that on me back in the day.
And it didn't work?
What, are you kidding? She was a kid. Of course it didn't. Of course now, I'm assuming with all the time that's passed. You see the soul, like, counting on hovering little phalanges of like, soul-colored. She's probably gotten better at it.
Wonderful.
Oh, God, Apollyon was right.
It's been slightly over 100 years. Surely she still has some holes left in her defenses.
Hopefully so. I'm sure the two of you will figure it out. After all, you turned the Guardian into a puppy, the soul says, gesturing to the small creature that is sitting at your feet.
But surely there's something you could give us to go off of.
The soul drifts back away from you. Pay attention to what there is.
Oh,
And
God, I
look
know what's
for
going on.
what's wrong.
Okay, I think I understand.
You have to break the reality. But I can't tell you how to do that. You'll just have to experiment. She grins and then disappears.
Oh, okay. Lunala?
Lunala groans, semi-conscious, starting to wake back up, and she opens her eyes, and there is a land shark sitting on her, like, lap, and she looks very confused.
Don't look at me, that's your fault.
My fault? What are you talking about? She says, trying to push herself up.
You, kind of untangled the knot, as it were. And sitting at the center was... He gestures to the land shark.
Okay.
She looks at it, she looks at you, she looks at it again. Am I dreaming?
That's a different problem. In this case? No.
I am so sorry, she says, suddenly, like, scrambling to her feet. Oh my god, what did I do? She's, like, looking around at the souls.
It's okay.
Not like they can be killed twice.
You helped them.
I don't really remember exactly what happened.
Well, you had some sort of epiphany. Said something about how you were the conductor. And you went over to the door, and you commanded them to listen to you, I suppose. And then you started taking them apart. Not in a... Well, it looked rather violent, but it wasn't. You were... I don't even know how to describe this. I mean, you can see the results around you.
She shakes her head. I didn't. That wasn't. There's no way.
Lunala, that was all you.
She lets out a shaky breath.
He gently grabs her shoulders and kind of brings her gaze up to his. And he says, that was all you. And you were magnificent.
Fuck, why did that make me want to cry?
I'm just sitting here having realized exactly what's going on.
God.
Yeah?
She sits there and kind of just looks at the remaining souls hovering around you. So, did it help?
Yes, it did. They're all themselves again.
It's not always the best thing, she says, realizing Dante is glowering in the background.
Well, sour old man aside, we did learn some troubling information.
Okay.
Mare.
Lunala snarls instinctively at the name.
She's... None of this is real. We've been entangled in her web.
What are you talking about?
The time distortions? They aren't actually happening. It was some sort of elaborate trap that she established. I don't know to what end, per se, but...
I mean, why would she do that? Those anomalies were real. I mean, there's no way she's behind all of this. I mean, people have been disappearing from these national parks for centuries.
She's just using it.
Precisely.
But
Like we thought
why?
those... I
What
don't
does
know.
she want?
It sounded...
Wait,
Oh no.
where's Apollyon been this whole time?
He was still... He stayed at base camp. He didn't go with us. He must be looking for us.
If she put us in here, then she wanted us out of the way.
She's biding her time.
I know what's going on. And I know why.
Oh, gods. We need to get out of here. She said we needed to find inconsistencies. We needed to break reality.
What does that even mean? How do you break reality in a reality that doesn't make sense?
It's a dream, right? Have you ever had those lucid dreams where you're aware it's a dream and you can do whatever you want in it?
No!
You haven't? Uh, Basically, in a lucid dream, you're aware that you're dreaming. And because you are, you're able to control the dream. The problem is, we're not the ones dreaming, necessarily. She's the one in control. But that's... I'm getting ahead of myself. In these lucid dreams, if you try to do anything too crazy, you usually wake up. If you try to fly around or make things change or play out scenes that aren't possible, it's as if your brain creates too much cognitive dissonance.
But this is an alternate reality. Literally anything is possible in this dream. She's made this foolproof.
Not quite. The rules have been established. It's our world, but it isn't. So it still must obey the rules of our reality. Which means if we can find holes in that, we might be able to build up enough cognitive dissonance to snap ourselves out of it.
Okay, but how are we gonna convince the rest of them that this is what's going on? And should we? What if
Above game.
they go a little crazy?
Above game, there's one party member that actually might be able to help.
I think they need to know. I mean, we need to know how to deliver the news to them.
Well, don't look at me, 'cause I don't know.
I think I can formulate an idea, and it's possible we might be able to ask for some additional assistance.
Additional assistance.
Well, Pridwen gestures to the site around them.
You
We've
think
got a
they're
whole...
gonna explain this? She says, gesturing to the souls.
We might be able to get a better perspective. I hate to say this, but Nyx was not particularly helpful. So, I think perhaps if we could, now that we know what's going on, perhaps we could get some more information from the other ones we talked to. My concern is that possibly if we try to deliver the news, they might have a problem with recognizing reality. So, how do we help them anchor themselves?
Luna looks at you.
I'm wondering if maybe any of them might know how best to anchor oneself in a plane where things don't make sense.
Well, they're your ancestors, she says, looking around.
Indeed they are. I think... Wait. Romeo said that Atnolfo had disappeared.
That I did.
But
Him
he's...
standing behind.
I swear to God, you're just like my sister.
I learned a trick from your horned friend.
Oh God, you met him?
Well, on the battlefield, but good at observing.
I am horrified by how many of you have met him.
He's been a thorn in our side for centuries.
That notwithstanding, that's Atnolfo down there.
What?
You turn around, Romeo. Atnolfo is standing on the shoreline talking to Scylla.
Oh, would you look at that?
And I think that means we should probably go talk to him.
Huh, socializing. That's not something he does often.
Would you like to accompany us, Uncle?
Very well. Yes.
Wonderful.
Seriously though, him socializing, not something you see every day.
Pridwen is going to make his way over towards Atnolfo.
You notice as you get closer, Atnolfo has his helmet off. He's
Oh.
talking, and Scylla is reading his lips. But there's no voice that's coming out.
Wait, but he's spoken before. Oh!
Oh?
That can't be good.
Oh.
Atnolfo?
He turns and looks in your direction and immediately puts his helmet back on.
You're... Romeo said you were missing.
You hear a voice come from his helmet. Missing is a strong word.
He tilts his head. What were you doing?
Searching.
For who? Or what?
For Aurelia.
We're looking for her.
I will look for her until either I find her or I cease to be able.
I'm afraid I might not have the most heartening news in that regard. I don't know when you went looking for her, but when we went on a mission and wound up in the void. While we were there, something spoke to us. It offered us the answer to any question we wanted. And I asked if I could find her. And its answer was practically no.
Practically isn't positively.
It seemed quite confident.
She's here, Pridwen.
She really is.
I can feel her in the very last curl of the waves, in the whisper of the sea breeze. I can hear her in the voices of the others. She's here. Whatever you talk to is wrong.
Is there any way I can help you?
You can't see it well, but he smiles and puts a hand on your shoulder. She's my wife, son. Leave an old man to his work. Don't you have more important things to do?
I suppose so. Time is of the essence. But I am going to find a way to help you.
I'm close. I can feel it. Just the other day, I felt her.
I know you can do this. Please, if there's anything I can do to help when this is over.
Well, he looks at Lunala. You summoned my daughter.
He's gonna look over to Lunala.
Lunala, still dumbfounded by all of the information that she's taking in. We can work on the finer details later.
Of course.
But I know she's here. And I know you know she's here, he says, putting a finger to your chest. Because you called to her. And something answered.
The familiar.
He nods.
Perhaps if you can find where it is, it might be able to help you find her.
He nods again. For now, though, he glances back at Scylla. I think I'll enjoy the family reunion.
I am very happy to see that everyone has had a chance to be together again. It's something I've wanted for a very long time.
He slaps a hand on your shoulder. And you earned it. He looks to Lunala past you and gestures to her. I still cannot believe that you're like me, he whispers to Pridwen. The moonlit matron. What a disservice they've committed to have seen you as anything other than what you truly are. He gestures to her ring. A rhizostoma. Seen, valued, and so long as the shield bearer stands, he slaps you on the back. Protected. Lunala is standing there and then just, like, tears.
Pridwen will pull her into a hug.
He lets go of the two of you and walks back towards Scylla, taking his helmet off again. He mouths something to her and she smiles. What do you do?
If you'd like, we could stay here for a moment more. I'm sure everyone's still trying to get their sleep.
Lunala still barely able to process and now crying. You look down, there is a small land shark chewing on your shin plate.
He'll pick the shark up.
You, like, pick it up by its dorsal fin and you see its paws, like, doing that running in air thing as it, like, tries to bite your hand but can't reach you.
Jeff the land shark.
It's a lot cuter without all the people in it.
Do you think you can still, you know, she makes a punching motion.
This? Oh, right. I forgot that it could... You're right. I wonder how it will act without the others. Or how it'll look.
Would you like the above game answer?
Kind of, yeah.
You have not lost your ability to call on the Guardian.
Hmm.
You have gained a new ability.
Oh?
You are now able, outside of combat, to summon the land shark as a coral construct.
Yo.
Oh
Yo.
my god.
That goes hard.
We have Jeff.
We have Jeff. Can they eat people and then throw them off a ledge?
This is very important information.
It said outside of combat.
A man can dream, okay?
Oh, the shark. Let's go. We have another animal to our collection.
Another pet to the collection. You are being adopted. Please do not resist.
I need like one of you to make art of the land shark with like the
shit.
swords or weapons sticking out of him and the blue glowy eyes.
Yeah,
God.
I'm definitely gonna have to draw the land
Yeah.
shark.
Yeah.
And name it, unless you're just gonna keep calling him the Guardian, which is kind of cute.
I mean, I will definitely. I think
But-
I already have a name for him.
The Guardian goes kind of hard, though, not gonna lie.
Guardian does go very hard.
So yeah, you guys are enjoying this moment on the shoreline.
And I am
And
very much not enjoying the moment and the other time.
outside,
Apollyon is
outside
straight
in
up
the
not
world,
having a good time.
Apollyon is not having a good time.
Yeah. What is going on with Apollyon? He was drowned in darkness.
He doesn't know.
I guess I won't know.
To above game put this meta, since both of you are kind of aware what's going on now.
Uh-huh.
This
Mhm.
is, for all intents and purposes, my way of backing Apollyon out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Maze is taking a front seat as my character.
And I'm
Also, I
very
do want.
curious when you freaked out and said you knew what was going on. I'm kind of curious to hear what your hypothesis is here.
So, I remember, because I could be wrong, but I remember during our last mission, I don't remember if I'm pretty sure we heard it from the little girl, or I know we heard it, but I think there's some fucky shit going on with the Keishan, because I think she's collecting souls, and a lot of them. There's one person that would benefit the most from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my theory. I think she's giving a good old power up to our good old antagonist.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah,
interesting
that's,
hypothesis.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like that's probably on the pretty
yeah,
close to on the money.
yeah. I think I'm almost on the mark. I mean, kidnapping and harvesting people, had a giant spider squid made of souls.
We do enjoy soul squids.
We do enjoy soul squids.
Skull squids.
I just
Skull
really
squids.
want to know how you felt when you got into the cave and realized
Yeah.
what you see.
So my initial thoughts, because I didn't piece it together at first, my initial thoughts were that I was speaking to the alternate timeline versions of the party, and that they got swapped somehow. But then, what is it? After a little while, I was like, wait a second. This
Wait
is
a minute.
This
Wait
is
a minute.
this is scarily reminiscent of that one Love Death Robot episode.
Oh yeah.
And then I pieced it together, and then I was just like, oh.
So I will ask you to behave yourselves and
Yes.
no metagaming.
I don't metagame. I'm good.
You better believe I won't. I mean, Pridwen
Yeah.
doesn't really need to worry about metagaming as badly
Yeah.
because he knows
True.
what's going on.
Pridwen's in
Yeah.
a kind of interesting position here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like, there's not a ton of stuff that he's not at least semi-aware of now.
Yeah. Above game, we should definitely make sure that not Katya is not there when we talk about it, because telling a dream that they're a dream would be interesting and bad.
To be fair, I don't know how like omnipotent our good friend is in the dream, so
Yeah. Yeah, it just begs the question, like, will they just start glitching out like an NPC, or like, will they block out the information, or what?
are they
But
going
telling
to
somebody,
actively try to fucking fight us
yeah,
because
exactly.
we're trying to get out?
Yeah, and I think telling someone that they don't actually exist would end badly.
well,
Hmm.
I guess you'll have to find out on the next episode